So these philosophies were already there in Jainism before Vardhaman Mahavir came up to propagate the philosophy of Jainism in ancient India. Fine. Such as philosophy of truth, non-violence, non-possession, and also not to take anything not given to you voluntarily by others, called aparigraha. So these things were already there in Jainism when Vardhaman Mahavir came into picture. It is said in Jaina text that these all four philosophies were already given by Parsavnath. So 23rd Tirthankar of Jainism had already added, or rather had already given, these four very cardinal principles of Jainism when he was propounder also of Jainism as a philosophy at that point of time. Now, when Vardhaman Mahavir came, he did not only use these all four cardinal principles of Jainism, rather he also another angle or rather another aspects of the teachings of Mahavir was also adding some more valuable ideas in these all particular cardinal principles of Jainism, such as the fifth value he added, it was celibacy. All right, that is precisely unmarried life. Fine. So, celibacy. This was added by Vardhaman Mahavir in the 5 vows, the 5 cardinal principles of Jainism. A person who used to believe in the core philosophy of Jainism, a person who wanted to follow the core ideas of Jainism, they all had to go by these 5 vows in their life, the 5 cardinal principles of vows in their life, and that's what the 5th one also was added by him, called as celibacy, that's unmarried life. The point is, why did he add this 5th cardinal principle in Jainism? It is precisely because of his fundamental belief. The belief was that it is not possible in a worldly life to expect from a person to sacrifice their desires. So, if you are into a worldly life, if you are into a materialistic life, if you are into a married life, so obviously in married life also there are a lot of responsibilities and commitments in that life. And since there are responsibilities and commitments in that life, it is not expected or not even expected by the others in terms of a person following Jainism to actually control all the desires automatically. So, it is difficult for a person to contain and control desires in a married life. So, that is why what actually he said, he tried to say one thing very clearly, the monastic life means an ascetichood life, in fact, that way. Monastic life is necessary to achieve salvation in one's life, and that is only possible if a person follows a life of celibacy. All right. So, that is what he added this 5th principle into Jainism, and that is where these 5 principles became the cardinal principles of Jainism overall. Fine. And there more of, the idea is after this also he added more and more values to these all ideas in an interesting manner. So, what actually he started explaining that what is the meaning of salvation, that is also called as Kaivalya in Jainism. He also explained this meaning of salvation was simply in the context of controlling desires. And as long as desires are there, he believed fundamentally a person again will keep suffering under the cycle of birth and death. Unlike Buddhism, unlike Gautam Buddha, he believed in the concept of soul. All right, Vardhaman Mahavir believed in the concept of soul, and what actually he explained one particular fundamental idea that a particular birth, of course, that has been given to one person, that birth actually has some objective to achieve, some goal to achieve in that life itself. And what is that goal to achieve in that life itself? The goal is to contain his desire. So, what actually explained, let me tell you that idea also. He said that this is a soul. All right, this is a soul, and what actually he said that our soul is completely surrounded by multiple layers of desires. multiple layers of desires. It is just like onion bulb. You keep peeling one layer, one layer, one layer, and that's how the last bulb will come out very clearly. आपने प्याज देखा होगा, उसी प्रकार से मैंने समझाया कहानी कि ऐसा प्याज होता है, प्याज का जो बीच का जो पार्ट बल्ब कहते हैं, उसको निकालने के लिए आपको हर एक लेयर हटाना पड़ेगा और उसमें बहुत से लेयर्स होते हैं प्याज में. तो सोल भी कुछ इसी प्रकार का है. आपको उस सोल के ऊपर जितने डिजायर्स है उसको धीरे 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 खत्म करना होगा. ऑलराइट, सो व्हाट he said that one has to take a continuous effort to remove this desire one after another. One after another. And once all the desires are removed, what will happen? The soul would be liberated. The soul would be liberated. And what will happen to the soul? The soul liberated will go to the Siddhalok, will merge with the bigger God or bigger universe in that way. So merge with the concept of universe or so called Paramatma. So that's what a person will have to strive to achieve this stage. As long as desires are there of previous birth, you will take keeping birth also in the subsequent births as well, subsequent life as well. So since your desires were there in the previous birth, hence you have taken birth also in this life. Alright, and that's what actually you have to ensure that in this life at least you should not carry the baggage of desires, so that in another life again you will get on this earth and hence you are bound to again get to suffer on this earth as well. So that's what actually was an idea to achieve Kaivalya in Jainism. Alright, so that's where he was having a different opinion than Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha did not believe in the concept of soul, did not believe in the concept of God also. He said God exists. God exists, but of course it is not superior than Jina, because the person who has become Jina, he has become more superior than God outrightly because he has controlled every kind of desires on this earth. God might have desired to maintain a balance on this earth, but Jina has no desire as such. Hence, Jina is always superior than God. At the same time, soul exists, and since it exists, hence you are bound to take birth after death always, since you are still having the baggage of your desires of your previous birth. Fine. So, this sort of ideas were taught by him, and then afterwards, of course, he spoke on this many lines or many arguments of then in the context of the equality, non-belief in the so-called privileges of Brahmins, etc., etc. These things also were talked by him, but he was not so directly attacking the Varna order the way Buddhism had attacked the Varna order outrightly at that point of time. So, he was definitely attacking the Varna order only in the context of saying that the Brahmins are not only entitled to have the privileges, everyone can have the entitled privileges of life as well if a person is completely dedicated to achieve salvation in one's life. And salvation can be achieved by anyone irrespective of he is born in a Brahman, Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra family. So that's where he was trying to talk about the equality in the society as well, but not directly attacking the Brahminical system or Varna system altogether. Fine. And that's where he again said one interesting thing. He said that Kshatriyas can also be superior than the Brahmins. Vaishya can also be superior than the Brahmins. In that way, he was still following the Varna order, but not giving the privilege to Brahmins altogether in this Varna order. Unlike the Buddhism, which did not believe in the Varna order outrightly. Alright. So that's where it was not attacking directly to the Brahmins, hence it survived. Hence it survived. This is also one of the reasons why it survived, because Brahmins didn't have any direct attack from the Jaina order. So therefore, there was no any direct attack of Brahmins also against Jaina order in India. Fine. And that's how it survived, it existed. But on the other hand, since Buddhism was targeting the Brahminical order as well directly, so hence Brahminical order had to reflect back, retract back against Buddhism strongly, and that's why Buddhism was completely wiped off from India. Alright, इसलिए बच गया, नहीं तो ये भी खत्म हो जाता. Alright, so these philosophies we have to understand. At the same time, he spoke on many other ideas as well, like he said that life exists in every form. Alright, soul exists in every form. Whether you talk about the living being, non-living being, everywhere soul exists. That actually was the belief of Vardhaman Mahavir as well. Fine. So in that way, he also talked about the animate or inanimate objects even they do also have soul. For example, rivers also have soul. For example, earth or soil also have soul. For example, mountains also have soul. Forests also have soul. Why? Because in every particular these entities, there are some or the other living beings, either in the form of microorganisms or maybe in the form of some living organisms as well. So, therefore, he talked about the souls exist in both the animate and even the inanimate objects. Hence, he followed a strict form of non-violence. Alright, he propagated a strict form of ahimsa or non-violence in the society, and therefore, I told you yesterday also that because of this sort of philosophy propagated by him very strongly, of course, agriculturists could not become the follower of Jainism, but on the contrary, the mercantile community, they actually followed Jainism outrightly in ancient India, and since then till today, you can still find Jainism being followed by the people who belong to the business class. Alright. So, that is what actually was his philosophy, his theory, and hence agriculturists could not become the massive follower of Jainism right from the beginning. On the contrary, Buddhism was still there, which was there to attract the agriculturists into that order, and hence Buddhism also became a formidable religion in ancient India, because largely in ancient India, the majority of the population of this country was agriculturist. Alright. So, hence Buddhism rose like anything in ancient India. Fine, Jainism was never a challenge for Brahmanism, so hence it survived altogether in India. Fine, but it does not mean the Brahmanism allowed Jainism to proliferate from the land of its birth. Rather, they had to survive only in the periphery of India, especially in the coastal areas of India such as Gujarat, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Maharashtra, some part of Tamil Nadu, some part of Odisha. Only in these parts and pockets of India Jainism survived, but in the mainland of India, precisely the area of Bihar, UP, Brahmanism dominated completely afterwards. Alright. So, that is where you have to understand, from land of its birth, even Jainism also had to uproot itself, because Jainism was born, especially in the context of Vardhaman Mahabir in Bihar, but definitely that particular aura of Jainism in Bihar was not so high the way Brahmanism bounced back from the era of Gupta period onwards, and they controlled entire this particular part of North India in the form of Hinduism altogether. So, that is actually the analysis of their spirit of teachings and also the philosophy of Jainism.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.